I want to show you some settings about the screen. We said that we were going to create an image and we need to make that image in the best possible way. So the Scada software defined a variety of features for us so that we can make the images. Friends, one of those features is this. Look, there are some objects on our panel, which is on the right. Now, when we drag and drop those objects onto our main screen, we see that they have specific outlooks. Friends, we see that there is a variety of shapes that have specific looks, so we are welcomed by those objects. We can change the appearance of these if we want. Look, there are some functions over here, and these functions are presented to us ready for use. Or rather, we can say that we are able to completely change the appearances of the objects. Now look, let me tell you this. We can change the style and the color settings about the objects however we want. So, how is it going to be? You should come here, and there is the designs menu under the common data section over there. And when you get to the design section, look, we see that our Scada menu automatically presented this to us as a classic menu. Look, it defined these to us automatically as a classic menu. So when we select these, they appear in our screen as a classic menu. So let's choose a different way. So I wonder how they will appear in our screen. Let's move them and see. Look, their appearances are different now, as you can see. So in this way, you're able to change the settings you want from this section. Or let's use one of the defined objects. So let's use this one, or let's select another one from the objects over there. Let's see how they will appear. Look, this time it appeared like this. Friends, as you can see, we can also select different design settings apart from the WinCC Classic appearance that is set as default. For example, let's select WinCC Dark. And when we select WinCC Dark, let's just drag our object and drop it onto our screen. Look, in this way we are able to use the object. Now I think that this is understood. So what we did here was to pick the objects that are presented to us as default and use them in the screen. Look, we have basic objects here. They are there. Look, we are able to see all of them. We have pipes here. So we have our bars here, and also down there we have a variety of graphics menus. We can change the appearance and style of all of them. Now, we can use other objects or shapes apart from the 6 or 7 objects that are presented to us. Friends, this is important. Look, Siemens gave us 6 different design options. We are able to use 6 of them. However, let's say that I want to do something different. I want to do different things apart from those. So, we can click on Add New. And what happened when I click on Add New? It created a new design. Now I have clicked on this design and I am going into that menu after clicking on it. Look, I am going to that menu. The Properties window appears here. Now after selecting the new design, we open our Properties window, and as you can see, we can make settings and adjustments from here. So let me show something to you. Look, let's click on VCC Simple. For example, I clicked it, and now let's go into the General Settings section. Friends, these are not becoming active. You are not able to activate some of the features because they are the features the software itself gave to us. Look, for example, you can't activate the features regarding shadowing. However, in the design that we will create on our own, everything will become active. Look, let's name our design. So for example, we can call it as Test Design. Friends, we have lots of menus here. We have the hover menu. So what will happen when you mark this enable box, which is under the menu? So this is important. When the enable box, which is under the hover menu, is marked. So let's do it like this. So if inner glow is selected in the type section, you will see a color change in the inner color of the objects to a color you will specify. So this is how you make the inner glow option. Look, if this is marked, you will see a color change in the inner color of this. It will turn into the color you see in the bottom field. Friends, if you choose this, if you select the increase brightness setting, the color of the background of the object will become lighter, and it will give the impression that it is glowing. Friends, we have another menu here. Look, there is another menu, so its name is Outer Glow. So if this is selected, the outer color of our object will turn into the color in our color field. So the outer color of our frame will start turning into the color we selected in our color field. You can think of it like this. Friends, other than that, we have our shadow menu. Look, you see that enable box which is marked. This way you are able to give shadowing to your expressions. You can also set the color of your shadows from here. For example, let's say that it should be a color like this. We set the shadowing of all of the objects that we will use here as orange. Thus, we made a shadowing for our objects. Let's go to the appearance setting, and friends, in the appearance section, we will change the shapes and the colors of the menus and the tools. Look, for example, there are settings under the screens tab. Look, for example, let's do something like this and use the menu and the tool buttons here. Let's close these so that our screen may enlarge a little bit. Or let's close this and let's move down the bar in the bottom a little more. Friends, look, there will be a variety of features in the screen field. So for example, if I select the background color setting as a different color, it will be a different color. So when I select it, the color behind the menu changed. In other words, I will be selecting this. Look, all of the windows over there came to this. So let me change this back to white. The fill pattern option sets the design of the fill. It sets the design of the fill in the background. This option sets the fill pattern of the background of our screen. Friends, with the fill pattern color option over here, you can set the color of the fill. In other words, you can change the color of the fill we gave a pattern to. So let's do something like this. Let's select a pattern. So after doing that, let's select the color of the pattern. As you can see, this sets the color of it. You can think of it like this. So what was the color of this? I forgot about it, but it's not that important anyway. Friends, other than those, we have our menu and toolbars here. Friends, Windows is selected here. There is also a setting as user-defined colors. Friends, let me tell you something like this. If user-defined color is selected, it uses the colors which is defined as the text color for the menu and toolbars backgrounds. As you saw, that is if you select this. If you select this, the background color above comes automatically, and it also uses the text color which is below. They are made like this. So what does it do when the Windows is already selected? I am sorry, I said it wrong. That here is not the background. It should have its own background. So let me change this back to white again. So let's do something like this. And as you can see, it is using that color. It uses this as the background. So if I were to do something like this, it allows us to set the color of the tab above. So this is all about the appearance menu. Friends, in our basic objects menu, you are able to set the colors, fills and borders of the basic objects. You can make the related operations in this way. In other words, you can change the color of the object that you will use from this section, and apart from that you have the chance to make the setting of that object so that you will use it in a variety of ways. Look, we have the text field section over here, which enables you to make the settings related with the text fields. So look, now for example, let's make this blue. Let's change this into blue. Look, let's change its color from there. Friends, look, it shows me the state of different texts. Look, it shows you the state of the text field. Friends, there is this pipe here. It allows you to make the changes regarding the color of the pipe. So, we have a pipe object here. You are able to change its color from here. Let's go into the element section, and friends, in this section there are things like the bars, the clocks and the text boxes that we used. You can make some changes regarding them from here. You see, if you want to make changes about the buttons, you can use the button tab which is located over here. You see, look, if you want to make the change regarding the round buttons, you can use this tab. Besides, if you want to make changes regarding the scroll bars, you can use this menu. Look, you can change the colors of these as you have seen. Also, if you want to change these clocks, you are able to use this. Now let's come here. Let's say that you want to make some changes about the checkboxes. You're able to make the necessary changes about the checkboxes from here. You can almost make every kind of setting you want. It is possible to make different types of settings regarding the bars in this section. These features are displayed as you can see. You can use them however you want. Friends, apart from those, there is not much left to show you, but I will cover these as well. So, let's do this. So friends, we made those settings. Now look, let's open our window like this. So look, it's here. And what happened when we opened our window? These things appeared. So let's bring them over here and see what happens. That one came in that shape. So let's come to these. Look, these came and their settings are adjusted as you see. Friends, let me tell you something. Normally, for these to appear like this, we need to adjust a setting. Let me tell you what that setting is. Look, we have the runtime settings section here, and in the runtime settings section, let's wait for it. So we have the general settings section, and under it there are some settings regarding the screen. There is a design option. Now in the design option, we have to select our design. Friends, if your design is not selected or active, then you won't be able to see the objects in these shapes. So what happened now? They appeared in a different way when I changed the design and the color. Because for these to appear the way we want it, we need to activate our design. Now, I want to say a few extra things. Friends, we made our settings. In the design section, as you see, our design is there. Now, let's go back to our screen. So that one come in that shape, and let's go to these. Look, let's come to these. So these came and their settings are adjusted as you see. So let's drag something from the screen, and as you can see, it is not using the general settings color we made as default. So what do we need to do for it to use our setting as default? So look, you will go to this related object. Friends, when you go to the styles and design section of the related object, look, if you want to see shadow, when you mark the box that says styles and design settings, you're able to see the other settings as well. So let me select this as well. So when you select that, you will go to the same tab. And when you go to the same tab, look, when you activate the shadow setting, and when you do this from here again, the settings you have done are coming here. Look, we have our transparency over here, and you can set the transparency of this from here. In other words, you can adjust the transparency from 0 to 100. So its transparency changes when you make this 80. Like we said, these settings don't come as default in our objects, yet you can make the settings in this way. Let's pick a clock from there. Look, we can make the setting regarding the clock like this. You can make the style settings too, and shadow settings like this, and you can also adjust the transparency of it in this way. Besides, in order to bring the alterations in the settings you made to the screen, which are the settings related with your object, so for the setting about the screen, you have this design tab over here. We have another method in order to make the settings. So, you want to convey the settings into the screen. Look, here it said classical default value. When you select use device style ID, so let's select it. So when you select it, all of the settings you made will be applied to all of the objects here. Therefore, via the two different methods, you can choose between the objects in default settings and make the settings for the ones you want one by one. Or you can assign the settings you made to all of the objects by changing the object that is on the top right corner. By changing it to use device ID, you are able to apply all of the style and the design settings you made here into all of the objects. So the things I have done are important, but the quality of my image is not quite important right now. My goal was to show these to you. You can use these settings in many different ways and use them in a more coherent way while designing your Scada. There are different types of features regarding the image you will create in your Scada screen. These were not completely conveyed to you in the panel trainings, and as you see, these are more in-depth. These applications are wider, and they grant you some space to move. They grant you flexibility, and these applications will help you to beautify your image. So if you go into the classic default setting, it does this, and in this way you can make the settings of these one by one. So as you see, you're able to use two different methods in this way.